Hey, this is Henry Rotten.
Hey, this is Marcus Interfonte.
Brad fucking Rush.
This is Big Sexy Venom here.
This is Kill OK.
This is Killjoy.
Hi, this is Tim Lee.
Mike Damage.
This is Doc Holliday.
Yo, it's Barack Obama.
I'm Sam Jude.
This is Marty Electric. I hate wrestling, and you're listening to the GBYWN podcast.
Yes.
You said I could say I hate wrestling.
Yeah, I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation podcast. As always, I am your host, Rad Hazard, for yet another dose of interviews and segments and recaps from our fun and entertaining and skilled community of backyard athletes, including a couple of weeks ago, having 203 BYW's final event of the 2015 season. And for most of you out there in the GBYWN community, pretty much everyone in North America, this is the end of the road for this season of 2015 for the GBYWN. And what an amazing season we had. So many huge super shows, so many major title matches, major defenses, championship belts going from continent to continent across this globe. And it all ended here with 203 BYW Descendency, where Daniel Devine successfully defended the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation World Championship against former 203 BYW champion Andrew Wright. The man who held the Connecticut's top singles prize and a New Jersey tag team title got his shot at the Global Gold and fell to Daniel Devine. We also had Ryan Rage successfully retain the 203 BYW championship against former champion, inducting his rematch clause, Benjamin, right back. And Ryan Rage with the biggest push of his career. He is on fire. Will he get a shot at GBYWN Gold very soon? Because he is on a roll as the EWA Elite Tournament 2015 winner, the 203 BYW champion, unbeatable in backyard wrestling right now. And I'm very excited to see what 2016 has in store for Ryan Rage. But as we also had a GBYWN United States Championship match, as Jack Diesel, the ultimate Kubish, battled myself, who for the first time in 15 months wrestled at an event without a GBYWN championship. Desperate to win, I walked into this four-way attraction with Nate Adams and Doc Holliday. King Doc Holliday, crowned with the King's Gold around his head. The crown that belonged to John the King Keller passed on to Doc Holliday. All three men, we got former World Tag Team Champion and Nate Adams and Doc Holliday, the King. Who would come out on top? Of course, the ultimate Kubish came out in this elimination match, last pinning me, which included a great power bomb into Biohazard double team, a three-way roll-up eliminating Doc, and then at the end, it was me and Jack Diesel. And after I powerbombed Jack Diesel, the first time Jack Diesel's ever been powerbombed, he immediately got up and showed me the error of my ways, powerbombing me half a dozen times until he powerbombed me straight to the outside of the base, to the ground, and pinning me for that 1, 2, 3. Jack Diesel, a dominant national title holder in the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation. He will continue on to bigger and better things in the year of 2016. I am very excited for next year's events. They're going to be few and far between, but as I've said on this podcast before, I think that's better because we will have bigger and better events and the opportunity for new promotions to pop up. New GBYWN territories, new GBYWN territory champions, new faces of this community for the next generation. I would call it the third generation of backyard wrestling as far as the internet goes, you know, the mainstream internet. If you ever look up backyard wrestling, and outside of a couple of the random terrible matches you find with 1 million views, outside of that, it's our generation, our timeline of backyard wrestling, and I'm very excited to see what huge events we have for next year. Major events, which means only better matches, only bigger storylines, and a lot more fun for everyone involved. Which brings me to tonight. As we look to the future, we take a glimpse into the past. I have a very interesting interview here tonight. Not even an interview that I'm in. I'll be honest, I did not conduct this interview. But with certain people going to bigger and better things, possibly to the pro circuit, the independent circuit, we might lose some of these interviews. And I'm very excited to take them and keep them in some way, shape, or form out there for those who know how to find them. And I think that's the best way for most of this wrestling to be archived, is not really something that anyone can stumble upon, but if you are a fan or if you want to have fun and you know somebody in the loop, you can find anything you want in our community, every match, every show. And I like that very much. So this is my way of preserving this Q&A from June of 2002 with a man who at the time wrestled as Focalin. Before that, he was Shawn Phoenix, and he ended his career as Phoenix, retiring with the GBYWN World Tag Team Championship. Most people don't remember that. His final match with Zayn went to a double pin, and both men retired. Zayn did come back, but Focalin, Phoenix, never did come back. He's going on to bigger and better things, we hope, in the world of wrestling. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a great little Q&A between Sick Rick interviewing, questioning Focalin from June of 2002. A little thing they like to call a dose of Focalin.
Welcome to GBYWN and all other people that decided to tune in to watch this. This is a dose of Focalin. We're doing a shoot interview with this guy right here. He's the man. Named Focalin, obviously. It will appear here. Okay. So, got some questions asked by you guys, some other people, random marks, people that good friends with.
Yeah.
What are we going by? Steve?
Yeah,
Steve's fine.
not formal.
Alright.
That's the whole point of this, is to
Yeah.
finally do something out of character, because I've been so character-based for so long.
Alright, so obviously, first question, a lot of people were asking, how's the head doing? Getting any better?
The head is iffy. For those of you that don't know, which is strange as to why you'd be watching this interview if you have no idea what's going on. I have post-concussion syndrome, not able to wrestle anymore. That's that. It's plateaued. There's days when I get really dizzy. There's days when I don't. So the memory's still kind of iffy. I mean, there's, like I said, there's days where there's good days and there's bad days. It's a gray area. So hopefully it gets better. Don't know when, but we're trying.
Alright, so there's not really a whole lot of transition when it comes to these questions. Now they're pretty random order. What started the feud with JP, and if it was all shoot, it was. How did you plan a match together?
What started the feud with JP? Jeez. If you don't know JP, and by the way, we're alright now. JP is the type of kid that likes to start things and start arguments for the sake of entertaining himself, and he'll admit that, which I guess we all do, like on the internet. But he'll like do it with his best friends and stuff like that. And that got to be pretty annoying. I know it happened with you sometimes and other people. But, so he started kind of doing that a lot, and that was kind of getting on my nerves. And then I was dating this girl named Chelsea, for those of you that don't know. And, long story short, girl gets in the middle of her, guy gets in the middle of a relationship, girl gets in the middle between two best friends. They butt heads. I heard a rumor that JP and Chelsea had been a thing when, you know, yeah, we were broken up, but we were still talking about getting back together or whatever. And I heard that they were still doing something. So I asked Chelsea if that was true or not, and she said yes. And I reacted by, I wanted to punch a wall. I used to punch walls when I was younger, when I was mad, which wasn't often, but when I did get mad, I'd punch a wall. I just fixed up all the holes in the wall, needed to punch a wall. So I did the next best thing, and I punched the picture of her and I, which is very symbolic, to prevent punching the wall, but I needed to get it out. And I ended up cutting my hand and actually needing surgery because I severed a tendon. And then I had to pull out of a couple wrestling matches because of it. You know, I needed surgery. And JP posted on the message board that he was sorry for screwing up my hand, and I lost it. Like, he was taking pride in something that obviously caused me a lot of pain. And so that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So it wasn't necessarily the fact that, you know, Chelsea, but it was more or less the pride and the pain that I had. So,
Right.
And how did we plan? Well, I don't know if it's a known thing, but what you see is what you got with that match. The promo was the first time we spoke to one another face to face in a year plus.
That was a crazy moment, though. I remember that. That was nuts.
Yeah, that's, you know, I wanted it to be real, and so it came to that. I wanted everyone to know what was going on, because there was, like, we had maybe chatted on AIM once or twice to see if we were all right with this, and so we set this up, and I wanted, you know, everyone there to see it, and then so the next day, it was time for the match. I didn't want people to think, oh, these guys are friends now, they're all cool. We actually had Rick be
That's
the
me.
spot passer. I would talk to Rick, he would talk to JP, Rick talked to JP, and vice versa. So you were kind of part of that match, and all the people know that.
A little bit.
Even if before the match, I remember it was him and me behind the thing, and I was looking at you going over the spots while he was right there, because I wanted it to feel real. Like, I didn't want it to be like, oh, we're friends now. No, what you see is what you got. The hits were real, and that's it.
See, this is something a lot of people probably don't get from that match or take away from it, but I remember at the time a lot of people were talking about how scared they were during the match and everything like that. And yeah, don't get me wrong, it was, like, stiff, the shots were legit, but, like, explain, like, how you were able to still keep it professional, though. You know what I mean? Like, you obviously didn't set out with the intent to injure him.
Right. Well, see, like, it had been a long time coming. Like, there had been days where I wanted to, like, kick the shit out of him, and sure, him, probably me. But I never wanted to actually get into a fight. I knew that, like, we are both in the field of wrestling, so why not make a real-life situation, you know, have art mimic real life and at least get something positive out of it. So that was always my intention, was, okay, I want to hit this kid really hard, but at least I want people to enjoy this and get entertained by this, rather than just beat the crap out of someone. When it comes to being professional, you know, I went out there with a job to do, and that was to entertain everyone and tell a story. And, you know, there was, you know, I wasn't in the moment of, like I was when I punched the picture frame. Like, it was, you know, it had been a year, and we knew what we were doing. We had the we had a match to do. So, what it is.
All right. That was personally one of my favorite matches that I ever got to book, so that was awesome. You guys did a really good job with that. Let's take it back a little bit. What made you change your name from Shawn Phoenix?
Good question.
Thanks. I came up with it.
This one doesn't have a really elaborate story. It's just I wrestled as Shawn Phoenix in 2007-ish. I mean, like 2003, 2007. And I wanted to go pro. I wanted to use that name in pro. And I didn't realize that, it probably wasn't a good thing to do both, yard and pro.
Yeah.
ETW just closed, or SCAW rather, which was my home fed with JP, Dom, and Josh. Like that had just, folded, and you had just acquired the base. We just met. And I figured, okay, well, I want to change my name. Now's a good time to do it. Start a new character. Use the name Focalin. I wanted a one-word name, just something different. Focalin is the name of my medication, so I wanted something that sounded cool, but nobody knew what it was, so that's that.
What inspired the Focalin characters over time?
Well, the first one was I come to your Fed, felt like I'd always been a babyface for my entire career as Shawn Phoenix, so I wanted to do something completely different. I turned heel, and I was playing the, like, I'm better than this. I've been to this place and this place. And now I'm wrestling in the woods. I didn't wear my tights anymore. I wore jean shorts because I didn't want to ruin my legacy. I was just basically, at that point, like, I decided to be a loudmouth kid. I don't really know why I started the faction, the CTK angle. That was
We'll get to that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's what motivated that character. And then the CTK angle, and then they broke up. Then I wanted to do a depressed character, which I'll touch on. I'm sure that's in the questions on the angle. So I was doing a depressed loner. Then after that, I did the pretty boy gimmick with Stacy. That was kind of supposed to be a bit of a face turn for a minute. That was, yeah. I don't know why we went heel. I really don't.
It was because of the Penn Hills kids. You guys wanted to work heel in that.
That's
match.
what it was. We never snapped out of it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then after that was, just kind of, I did eventually go face.
Yeah.
And that was just, I was in the dying days of SWC, I almost said SWW. That was just kind of, floundering around there for a bit. And then I decided I wasn't having, like, fun anymore, because with the punk graffiti pyromaniac vocal in the first one, I was really, like, character driven, and I wanted that again, so I was thinking maybe bring that one back but tweak it a little bit. So I did the gothic character, and I can do more in-depth promos and stuff like that, because that's one of the things I always did as that character was promos and stuff. So just wanted to do something different but familiar, basically, you could say, with that one.
Okay, from start to the end, what was your goal as a backyard wrestler?
In the beginning, on the trampoline, I just wanted to do it to have fun. Then I got watching some videos on wrestling figs of Evan Extreme, Andrew Hatred, the Chad, Zane, KKK. They were all big on wrestle figs, and I was shocked at how good they were. And mainly, Evan Extreme really caught my attention. Zane and Chad didn't really post too much. They actually annoyed me back then. Zane was the biggest troll. Evan Extreme was always the one that I wanted to be like. They had the first base. They were, what was the Fed?
No one will blame you. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the Fed. It was in Massachusetts. I'm sure Jerry Tornado remembers. They were the first Fed that I saw with a base. VXW is what they were. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I want to be like these guys. So at that point, I just wanted to be like them. Then I saw an XWA video, and I was blown away with how many I thought were fans, but it turns out they were all wrestlers. How many fans they had, and how good everyone was. It wasn't just one guy like it was in VXW with Evan Extreme or with Andrew Hatred. Everyone was good, and I was like, I want to wrestle with these guys. Never thought it'd be a reality. I'd watch the videos over and over again. I was so amazed. It got to the point where I'd remember the songs in the music videos, and had watched them so many times that I would like hum them in school, walking from class to class.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've all been there.
And then like a year later, I'm with them, which was a dream come true, which is really weird to say and really lame, but I never thought it was possible. So at that point, I just wanted to, keep getting better was my goal. And once I was done with ESW, once ESW closed, I just wanted to kind of help out younger kids, because once I came back, not a lot of people knew much. I mean, there was only a handful of guys that really knew how to work a match and stuff like that. Not that I know how. It's just, I mean, any knowledge that I had, I wanted to pass on and learn from them. So, always wanted to get better, I guess, was basically the main gist of it.
Kind of touched on this already. I'm sure there's a few other people. Who or what was your biggest inspiration?
Evan Extreme, like I said, all the WrestleFix kids. KKK was the first person I talked to on, like, it was more or less like, this guy is actually in the video. Like, this was back in 2003, when I didn't really talk to anybody, it was just the internet, I would just go on forums, but like, wow, this is actually that guy in that video. So, basically, those two, and then all of everyone in XWA Resurrection, everyone, like even the worst people in that video, they were doing something that I wanted to do, so I admired them. So, pretty much everyone in ESW and on the link was an inspiration to me. But the Anarchy Andes, the Dave Maynards, the Tommy Flambeaus, the Mithrils, they all stood out. But everyone inspired me in one way or another.
What about anyone like pro-wise?
Pro? Love Raven. Raven's inspired me with his promos. The way he can break everything down and tell such a great story and make everything personal. CM Punk, obviously. That's pretty much the only thing I can think of.
Let's see here. If you could have one more match, who would you want it to be with?
That's a tough one. Because I know everyone is thinking, he better say my name. Wow. One more match.
Doesn't have to be a singles.
This is true. I don't know. That's so hard. Like, obviously, I would love a rematch with everyone I ever wrestled and a match with people I didn't get to wrestle. Then there's the nostalgia aspect of it. Like, I started with Dom, so I'd like to end it with Dom. And then there's you, where, you were a big part of my career and stuff like that. And then there's the dream matches like Andy. I don't know. I'm going to say M-Dog 20. He's a good yarder.
That's very fair, very fair.
Good yarder.
That's very fair, very fair. Let's see.
I don't even like M-Dog that much.
If you could legit fight anyone who you've previously wrestled, who would it be and why?
Legit fight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not much of a fighter.
I'm kind of a pacifist. I don't have a problem with anyone. I mean, if I did have a problem with anyone, it'd be JP, and I kind of...
Would you fight Quinn?
I'd never fight Quinn.
It'd be fun to watch.
I've actually never been in a fight in my life. Well, that's not true. I've been in a fight with my dad a couple times. Which is why I don't fight, because the only fighting I know how to do is punching my own father in the face. So if I'm willing to do that, I'll probably kill a lot of people. Next question. I don't like that.
Alright. Yeah, this is a good one. What was going through your head when you were on top of the roof of the barn about to do the moonsault?
Ooh.
Hold on. Clip, now.
What the fuck? Oh shit. Oh my god.
And we're back. That shit was nuts. So what was going through your head?
When I was up there, it was like, wow, this is a whole lot higher than I thought, because I hadn't gone up there and looked. It was just, hey Beach, can I do this? Yeah, sure. Excuse me. So I was up there and I was
Did you have to ask his parents?
Well, yeah, I asked his parents, obviously. He didn't tell me to, I just did. I didn't want them to start flipping out. Yeah, I was just, wow, this is a lot higher than it looks. And then everyone was like really far away, I remember. Like, you guys gotta come in a little bit closer. Which I probably shouldn't have done, because no one caught me anyway. But that one was probably actually easy, like, simpler that the right word?
Yeah.
Or more easy than the one at JAS 6. Should we do a clip?
Yeah, we could do a clip of that one. It's not the best quality, but here you go. No.
You look like a ghost right now.
That was scary.
That one was probably scarier because it was just one person. It wasn't a diving one. It was just I was doing a moonsault, and I kept going higher. Like I climbed the wall the first time, like thinking, yeah, I'll do this. And then in the match, I just was like, no, I need to go higher. Like, and then higher again. Like I went so much higher. Like whenever everyone was yelling, no, stop, that made me go higher. And then I realized, crap, I have to get down. And I can't just like climb down now. And that one ended up sucking because I tore my meniscus in my knee. I'm sure you guys
I was not a fan of that one.
Yeah, that was pretty painful. That one actually put me out of action for at least 2 months. It just so happened that there weren't any shows for those 2 months, but that was probably the first time I've ever been sidelined because of wrestling. Now I think about it.
Wasn't that no, that was after Freak Boy. You were supposed to wrestle Freak Boy, hurt your ankle. I remember whenever I did the BSK the
Well,
face.
yeah. But I mean, like, that I was like out of action.
Yeah.
Like that was just I wasn't 100% for that match, but like I wasn't wrestling for the next 2 months. So thankfully I didn't need surgery, so that's good.
Speaking of injuries, which injuries had the biggest impact on your current medical condition? I'm guessing that's talking about the concussions. Like, what made it the worst? What was the...
Oh, like the headshots?
Yeah.
Probably every headshot I ever took ever. I never was one to put my hands up for chair shots. Then, like, you know, the Vancouver match, that, you know, all the head bumping in that match. It's just every headshot. I mean, that's kind of a big question. Excluding that, assuming, let's say, other than that, which one affected me the most? Other than the torn meniscus, it was actually the ankle, because that I did, I heard that in our match, was that January?
No, that was April.
Was it April?
Yeah.
You sure?
It was April 1st. Yeah.
But like, I had pain in my ankle until June.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was pretty rough. So, excluding those 2 injuries, we'll say the ankle.
Alright, who would you consider your worst nemesis and your best ally?
That's... Obviously, wrestling's fake.
Yeah.
The Shawn Phoenix character always feuded with Mad Dog. Focalin always with Sick Rick, I guess, so to speak. Like, well, in 2009. Then there's JP. And then there's the pen name. Probably you being my worst nemesis, because I feel like we have that type of story where it's like, no matter what type of match, you know, when it is, we'll always put on a good match, because kind of like how The Rock and Austin, even if they're both babyface, you generally felt like that they wanted to one-up each other, so it's always good in-ring, like, chemistry, so to speak, like they fed off each other. So probably you, and then best ally would probably be... That's a tough one. That really is. Because I've been involved in 2 factions, I've been involved in a tag team.
Brandon and Devin both carried over between the factions.
That's true, so probably one of those 2. Probably Brandon. Probably, well... I don't know, it's really hard to say.
Yeah.
Because Brandon was sort of my protege in CTK, and then in The Awakening, he's your tag team partner.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go with...
Maybe even Lee Andrews back in the...
maybe, because we were tag team for so long. But then, we ended up having...
That might be one of the worst nemesis ones.
That's true, I didn't think of that.
Both.
I can't remember that match. That just apparently too many headshots. I don't know. I'm just gonna say I don't have any, allies, so to speak.
What do you do with your time now that you're done wrestling?
Work.
Yeah, like all of us. Yeah.
If I'm not working, I'm with Lindsay, or picking her up, taking her to work, or one of the 2. Holding a lizard, which actually... I got jealous. I actually got jealous of for hanging out over there without his daddy.
You're so weird.
Let me know when you want him back.
That's alright, man.
Sure, I want to put him in his spot. The spot I was telling you guys about. Boom! He immediately went and laid down. He's gonna reposition in a second. Look. You comfortable? You got that face down?
I think it's cool.
Alright.
I hope he doesn't try to eat.
I feel like I'm busier than those two things, though. Like, I'm always doing something. It's just very trivial stuff. Playing computer games.
Yeah.
Video games. Making.
Killing people.
Eating. Working out. Saying my prayers.
You don't work out.
I started to, actually.
Oh, really?
It's actually, was recommended for my health.
He also doesn't say prayers.
I also don't say prayers.
This is my personal favorite question that you were asked. If you were not here today, or even came to be, where would you be?
Home.
Home.
There's no place like home.
There's no place like home.
I mean, we all have to be somewhere. And if I wasn't here right now,
But here's home. And
I don't
if
know
you
who
weren't
I.
here,
Yeah.
where would you be?
Wait. What was the question again?
If you're not here and you never came to be,
Oh,
where
okay.
would you be? Is the
I guess
question.
what it means is I don't remember who. I don't know who asked this. If I never became anything, I guess.
I don't know.
No.
If you were not here today, or even came to be, where would you be?
I'm pretty sure.
No, you never came to be.
That's what I'm saying. If I never became a name, what would I be? Is what I'm thinking.
Is that what?
Let's just go with that.
Go with that one. That's
If
fine.
I never became anything, yeah, I don't know. I've been doing it for so long. Probably skating still, probably, because I was pretty into inlining, and then I found wrestling. Yeah, but 885 closed, which makes me sad. I don't know. I've never thought about that. That's a weird question because it's been my life,
Yeah.
which sucks that now it's completely,
No, that's a weird question because it's not English.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thanks, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
What do you think of your fans and non-fans?
They all suck. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna censor that out.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't want any cursing, by the way. I want to send this to my mom. I mean, it's cool. I agree with my haters. I didn't think I was anything. I don't think I deserve fans because I'm still this kid that was just watching these videos, and I never thought I'd be anything. So I'm not as good as those guys. But I mean, I enjoy talking to fans every now and then. Like I have a couple fans that are like really diehard. I don't want to name any names because I don't want to forget anybody because I don't really talk to everyone because I'm probably always at work. But so it's cool. I mean, talking to people and stuff like that. Like hearing I'm their inspiration is really weird, but it's really cool because to know that I was in that spot. And I always try to talk to them because I knew what it was like when Kale talked to me and shit like that, stuff like that. Sorry. People that aren't fans, I don't really know of any of those. I mean, I'm sure there are, but they're not vocal. I wish they were because that's one thing I've always wondered. If people don't like me or if they even like have anything, I want to know. Like if they hate me, tell me. If you want to insult me, just make it be creative because I mean. If as long as I'm getting a reaction out of you, that's cool with me.
Absolutely.
Like even if someone has a dream about me, I want them to text me as soon as they wake up, being like, even if I haven't talked to them in like years, bro, just had this dream that you just like ate this pizza and then threw up. I would love that. So I guess I just love attention. Any attention's good attention.
Did amateur wrestling help you perfect the wrist lock?
Do you even do a wrist lock in amateur wrestling? I don't think you do.
No, I'm gonna say no.
No, it didn't.
No.
I did do amateur wrestling though for like a month.
Did they have anybody in your weight class?
Oh, I never did any matches.
Yeah.
I just did practice. I hated it.
That sucks.
I hated it. No, I intentionally didn't do any matches. Like I did matches at practice, but like I didn't go to any of them because like my mom was like, "Oh, you need to do amateur wrestling. You're gonna be a wrestler." She really sounded like that, and I was like, "No, Mom, I'm gonna be a high flyer."
He stuck with it long enough to be able to provide me with a really sweet refrigerator magnet.
I'm pretty sure we can probably show that picture somehow.
We'll make it happen. It's fine.
It happened. It just happened. They just saw the
it
picture.
happened.
They
Oh,
just saw the
it
picture.
happened.
That's it.
You're welcome. That's it. There it is.
That's it. And the photographer was like, "Oh, is that your wrestling stance?" Yeah, everyone else is standing like that. Yeah, I hated it because I always wanted to be a high flyer, and I was like, I don't need this. This is stupid. In retrospect, probably should have did it because chain wrestling is awesome. Yeah, I was in 7th grade, 6th grade, so.
But it didn't help you perfect.
Did not help. The only thing it did help me perfect was pins, actually, because there I learned that you should
actually try to pin the person.
Stand on your tippy toes and put all your weight on it and make it look legit. That's the big thing with wrestling. You always want to make it look legit, especially with pins. So yeah. So at least I learned something from it.
What got you into wrestling in the first place?
Not being able to watch it. I swear to God. Both my parents are paramedics. There was a case where a kid did a wrestling move to his sister or whatever, and he ended up killing her or something like that. And so that formed a big stick. It was oh, my parents were like, no, it's not happening. And all my friends liked it, and they would always talk about whatever. I knew who everyone was. I've heard of The Undertaker, heard of Kane, Stone Cold, The Rock, were all pretty much the main ones in the 90s. And I really wanted to watch it, because curiosity killed the cat. And we were flipping through the channels one day in 2001, and we had a cheater box, and so we only got 2 pay-per-view channels, and we just happened to stumble on to Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kurt Angle, SummerSlam 2001. I knew Kurt Angle was from Pittsburgh. I begged my parents to let us watch it because Kurt Angle was from Pittsburgh. I guess I knew him or whatever. I felt, I needed to support him. They let us watch it. Then it was over. That match was over, which was a great match, by the way. I watch it every now and then. It was awesome. If you haven't seen it, watch it. After that was The Rock and Booker T. And for some reason, not knowing anything about wrestling, I loved The Rock. I pleaded to watch. 1 second. Hey, I'm filming a video. I was just calling to tell you, whenever you walk in, don't make a lot of noise, alright? Alright, bye. That was Mark. Where was I?
The Rock.
Yeah, I begged and pleaded not to, to let us watch it. There's always a catch, though. I had to promise my parents that I would never do it. And I kept that promise.
For
a month? Because I remember wrestling out on the field during recess. It wasn't really wrestling, I would just get chokeslammed all the time. So yeah.
Which kind of translates into your backyard wrestling life.
Obviously, yeah. And it's it's also I was never allowed to listen to the X, or the alternative radio station here in Pittsburgh. For you guys that don't know, never allowed to listen to it. Now that's all I listen to. So don't shun me from something, because then I'll just eat it up.
You're not allowed to be gay.
Well.
What was your favorite match that you were involved in, and favorite match that you've seen live?
Favorite match I was involved in? It probably wasn't one of my matches, to be honest. It was probably I was a ref. So I was always critical of my matches.
Let's not worry about those matches. Something that you actually participated in, as a wrestler.
I don't know, because every match, I enjoyed every match, because every match had its own meaning, and most of the matches meant something, and I tried to make them mean something. There's the matches with Lee Andrews, with the stories we told, the matches with you, Eddie, with the storyline, JP, then the matches I never thought would happen versus Kale, Chewy, Henson,
Makabe.
Yeah, Makabe, being in the ring with Andy,
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm just gonna be lame and say my favorite match is probably gonna be my first match at BYT. The first match that gave me a chance, an opportunity.
That's not lame at all. That's actually.
And was there
another? And the one that you've seen live.
I don't remember any matches. Favorite match I've seen live would probably be GBYWN versus BCW.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I was actually just thinking about that the show the other day. That show was great. and I know everyone says that about their show. That show was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It sucks what happened to Trey. I think if Trey was there, the show would have been 10 times better. But I mean, it would have been 150 on a scale of 1 to 50 with Trey rather than 100. Yeah, that show was awesome. Anyone that hasn't seen that, buy the DVD. Help Rick out, help us out. I don't gain anything from it, but maybe it'll help out something in the future. So buy it, enjoy it, watch it.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, what was your opinion on the Midwest versus Northeast thing that was going on for a little bit? And also the Link era versus the GBYWN era?
Midwest versus...
Well, not necessarily like against each other, but like trying to one-up each other, so to speak.
Oh, well, I mean, in terms of that, that's great. Competition's always good. I mean, I like the Revival versus New Era. It's a shame we never got to do the Revival versus New Era show.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up.
That would have been awesome. Specifically because of the mirror matches like Chongo and Puck Stuffer, Dame Vengeance and Nick.
Cal and Mike Williams.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. That would have been like playing Mortal Kombat and like two of the same characters and just
awesome.
But I liked it. I like to say that was the first one that wrestled for Revival and New Era. That's cool. No one can say that. I guess the New Era guy, first New Era guy to come over to Revival can say that, but I mean, it was fun. And in terms of the Link versus GBYWN,
yeah.
What it like comparatively, or
yeah, sure. That probably is better than what this person meant. So.
Comparatively, the Link era was tough for a kid like me.
Yeah.
I was living a dream, and no matter what I could do, I couldn't win. Because if I said how much I admired the people, because I did, I was an ass kisser. And if I didn't pay respect to anybody, they'd give me shit. Couldn't win. So that added a lot of pressure, and that really motivated me to do better. I wanted to do better every match.
It's probably your brothers.
Whatever.
Tapping hard.
And then, it's the dogs. GBYWN era. And that's really laid back, and guys like me who was a part of that tried not to make it like the Link era. So, I mean...
You walked into GBYWN like rock star status, though. Like
that was kind of
guys did.
That was kind of neat. I mean, all of us old guys kind of did. Once guys like Donovan and, Kale started coming over, I lost my status, obviously, because it wasn't anything special. But, so yeah, I mean, they both had its advantages and disadvantages, I guess.
Alright, what was the original plan for the Awakening angle? What changes were made? What was the payoff that was planned? Just talk about the Awakening angle in general.
Good question.
Good question, Scott Henson.
Yeah, that was Scott Henson. Good question. Of all people to be curious in a storyline that I came up with, it'd be Scott, right? Basically, like I said before, it first started as me wanting to get that drive back. And then I remember, Nick and Devin saying that they wanted there to be another faction, so I was thinking. And the whole point, I was like, let's do something, let's do a gothic thing. Let's try and be different. Then I came up with this storyline of I wanted it to be everyone had a vendetta against the pen name, my tag team partner at the time. Which true, it wasn't a bullshit thing like every character could legitimately claim that they had something against him as a heel. And then like this whole storyline revolved around the pen name, and so that's like I believe it was eventually gonna go to like I honestly don't remember at this point because it's been so long. What was it?
Stacy was supposed to like return at the Northeast show or something.
That's what it was. Yeah, because of the fact that it was going to be the new era versus Revival show.
Right.
And we were going to be the Revival team.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had also stolen, or Robbie Roberts jumped ship and revealed that he was the leader because the pen name was ripping off Robbie Roberts. So a guy that was obviously going to be on the New Era team is now on the Revival team, so they're missing someone. Pen name was going to make his return and whip our butts. And then after that, there really wasn't a big plan. We had dabbled into talking about what we were going to do. There was talks of, Awakening breaking up, but the only two people staying together would be me and Froggy.
Well, Brandon and I too. But
Yeah, but I mean, like, it wasn't going to be like a kick out the leader type thing.
Yeah.
Then everyone like the Nexus just fade away. Just want to do something different, so we were just tossing ideas around. Nothing really, stuck. Obviously, a lot changed. Pending, actually stopped wrestling, and we kind of had, we kind of stopped talking. New Era, Revival's dead. Is Revival dead? It's ironic to say that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Revival's pretty much dead. SWC is dead. There weren't really any changes. Robbie Roberts was the leader from the beginning. That was always the plan because I wanted it to be different from CTK. Even if you watch the debut of The Awakening, when Henry Rotten...
Well, my first idea was for Dawn, but we didn't want to take their biggest guy.
Even during the Henry Rotten promo at JAS, he refers to me as the leader. I say I'm not the leader. Like, the plan was from the beginning, Robbie Roberts, once everything got thumbs up, that was the plan.
Yeah.
And we weren't sure how we were going to reveal Robbie as the leader. We know we wanted to do it soon. So we decided on, the day I make my official retirement, that's a perfect opportunity for Robbie to do it, kill off my character. Which, by the way, Robbie did not make any contact with my head. Clear up any confusion. That was me trying to get closure on my character. I love storylines, love closure. I didn't want to just be like, alright guys, bye. I wanted you guys to do your thing, keep the angle going, take it wherever you want, kill off my character, put you guys over. That's what that was. I know a lot of people were confused with that. That's what that was. So, good question, Scott.
What matches would you have liked to had if you didn't have to stop wrestling?
One of the matches I know for sure booked for BYT after BYG was me versus Andy's singles match. Just based on the reaction that him and I got when we first squared off. Everyone popped, which was an honor. Because, everyone wants to wrestle Andy, but...
Not everybody
wants to watch particular Andy matches. And to be in the ring and knowing people want to see me and him in a singles match was very, very overwhelming, so to speak. So Kale was like, yeah, that match. There's so many. I wanted to wrestle everyone. Like a rematch with Zayn. If I had to pick one, I don't know.
What about people, just name a few people that you didn't get to wrestle that you wish you could have?
Zayn Vengeance. An actual match with Jerry Tornado. I was sore.
Which ended up being your last match,
ended up being my last match. I was sore from wrestling 2 days either, and it was kind of a book yourself. We were like, let's just wrestle. We'll say we wrestled, and let's do it. Tony Deppen, Brian Brody, obviously Andy, singles with Loco. We'd always want one. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting you. I've literally wanted to wrestle everybody. Every match is different. Every match can tell a story. It's different. Those are the, main ones. We were planning on a rematch. Me and Trey, already coming up with spots. We didn't know when it was going to happen, but we knew that we had spots, and that match was going to roll. Just I don't know. There's the rematch with Twisted Outcast. So many. I don't know.
Speaking of Trey wants to know: does Mike Wonder like Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Does he?
I don't like Taco Bell.
Yeah,
he doesn't like Taco Bell.
No, he doesn't.
He ate there once when he was 6 and he threw up.
Yeah.
Story behind that is, BYG, on the way home from dropping off the Allentown kids, we asked Mike Wonder if he wanted Taco Bell. He said yes. Me being the nice guy, I don't want to make someone eat food that they don't want. So we're in the drive-thru, and as we're ordering, Mike goes, I don't like Taco Bell. Immediately says, I've never eaten here before. I ate here when I was 6 and threw up. All within one sentence. It was so freaking funny. Yeah, we were like, then why did you say... Like,
And that's why we don't hang out with you anymore.
Yeah, he did kind of fall off the face of the earth, didn't he?
Yeah. No, he posted on that confession thread.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. He like intentionally fell off the face.
Yeah.
He must have lost his smile.
Can you explain the CTK angle that came before the Awakening angle?
CTK angle was basically it started off with me, the heel in SWC, or then NWW, NW2.
Right.
And I wanted to do a faction of heels. It originally started out as it was supposed to look like my old Fed, ETW, JP, Quinn. Was it just that? Those two? And me kind of invading the Fed.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then like trying to do a takeover. And then I did my little quitting thing to do training. I had no intentions of coming back, but at that point I wanted to come back and make it big and try to turn it kind of like the NWO wanted to do, turn it into their own Fed. So I wanted to pick select guys. And then I was the leader, the obvious leader. I had everyone interfere in my matches, never interfered in them, like I was selfish. And then, basically I didn't appreciate them. And then they all turned on me because of that reason. And I lost all my friends because of it. And when I was at the press angle, not a lot of people know this, but that's actually based off my relationship with Samantha. She claimed I didn't appreciate her or whatever, and then broke up out of nowhere, and I was depressed. So I knew what emotions to play based on that because I wanted to do the depressed character. So yeah, that's like the 2-year feud with you. Like that was awesome. The fact that I came back, surprise, challenged us for the belt, won it.
You don't wrestle in 2 years and you come back on the 3rd day of the show and blow every other match out of the water. It's absurd. Except for Zayn and FX, which was just, that match was just untoppable.
That's all Alex's fault. And then, because I had the title, I was trying to kill SWC, and yeah, it was SWC at that point.
Yeah.
And then, I had the old belt that I stole from you, which technically I wasn't a double champion. Yeah, just I don't know. Like there's a lot to that. There's a lot of dynamics, and like our match had a lot of throwbacks and stuff like that. Not a lot of people know.
That's the next question on the list is go in depth on the storyline with me.
Oh, okay, yeah. Basically, I stole the belt, wanted to kill your company, avoided you. We never had a singles match when I came back. We just had tag matches and stuff, and. There's dogs in my room.
Dogs.
And I don't want them to bump over the tripod. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, I avoided you. And I was undefeated. And so then when we finally had our match, CTK was manned from ringside. If they interfered, I forfeited the title to you. And at that point, that was unheard of, me not having CTK there. And then you beat me. But your shoulders were down,
right?
Which we blatantly stole from Chewy and Dave. Blatantly stole it. It was supposed to, then Troy was supposed to come out, hype everyone up, and
Troy did an awful job. That was the worst possible thing that he could have said.
Yeah.
He didn't even remember his one sentence.
Right. But that was the motivation behind that. Was he pinned me the first time? And anytime you see like a thing like that, like an obvious, no, you have the option to restart. It's always a champion retaining. So then immediately you beat me again, You got the belt back, then I started a feud with JP. Yeah.
And then the blow off at New Beginnings.
Yeah, New Beginnings. Yeah, at that point, I was doing anything, to get respect and stuff like that. So that was the match of who was better because every... I hope she was in the frame right there. If she wasn't, Molly just walked in front of the tripod, looked up, has a biscuit in her mouth, chewed, and walked away. I hope to God that's in the shot.
It's probably not. I feel like it wasn't, but that was funny.
I hope that reaction in the just keep that in there.
Of course. There's not going to be a lot of editing done here.
Okay.
So, out of all the matches you had, who do you feel that you had great chemistry with, and who did you have not so good chemistry with?
I don't really feel like I had great chemistry with anyone, really, other than JP, because we wrestled for so being able to wrestle so often. You and I kind of had good chemistry.
Yeah.
Trey and I had great chemistry.
Yeah, that's definitely up there.
So we're the same wrestler, kind of. We do the same moves. Chemistry. I haven't really wrestled too many people more than once.
Yeah.
So that's hard to say. I feel like I guess that kind of coincides with the next question. I don't think I had good chemistry with anyone, so bad chemistry. Towards the end of my career with my concussion, I wasn't clicking with anyone. So, I mean, sorry, Two-Step, sorry, Doug, sorry, everyone that I wrestled that had a less than stellar match. At least I know that was because of my head and not because of, carelessness or whatever. But I feel like I let them down, and I'm really hard on myself to this day about it. If I could redo it, I would. I mean, I apologize. Hopefully you didn't hate it as much as I did, and I hate some of those matches, not because of you guys, but because of me. So, hope you forgive me. So I'm going to say, just anyone I had a bad match with.
What's your biggest regret in wrestling?
Headshots.
Obviously.
Headshots.
Any specific ones?
No, all of them contributed.
Yeah.
But I mean, like...
I'm not a fan of the doors and legit kicks against Brandon.
It's funny, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't seen that match, I'm sure we could maybe put up a clip or something with just highlights, maybe on a little video box or whatever. Just
something.
Just something to see while we're talking about this.
Yeah, I'll show something.
Yeah. So during that match, I definitely got knocked loopy, and then proceeded to get kicked in the head 3 times. Yeah, basically any headshots. Now that I know what I ended up becoming, that's a big regret. But yeah.
If you were given just one do-over, only one, in your entire backyard wrestling career, what would it be?
One do-over. That was actually a very convenient time for in the park. One do-over. That's hard. Probably pull myself from me versus Andy versus Arbo versus Ryan, because I wasn't back in the groove of everything, and I was off that match. It was hot. I blew a couple spots. Played that match. Probably us versus Vancouver's. I blew a couple spots because I got confused on which we were practicing spots, and I switched it.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one.
Yeah, now that I know what the spots were, supposed to do, probably maybe that, I guess. I don't know.
And the whole fact that, like, the way that it went down.
Yeah, the fact that I ended up getting knocked out because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll go with that one then. Because, that wasn't fair to you.
This isn't about me. Let's see what else we got here. Did you learn anything from wrestling that you'll always remember as a life lesson? Lindsay wants to know, is that supposed to be a memory joke?
Did she actually write that?
Yeah, it's right there. Is that supposed to be a memory joke?
And then she wrote LOL.
LOL.
I was afraid you would have yelled at me if I actually LOL'd, but it's fine.
Not really. I mean, I am the way I am because of my upbringings. Give everyone respect. Give respect. Get respect. Do unto others is always how I've been brought up. I like to think of myself as a nice guy. I don't really know. Maybe be more vocal, because I was a shy kid in 9th grade, and then once I met everyone, I opened up, so I mean, I guess maybe not that.
Maybe took a little overboard.
Maybe I can't remember. Maybe I can't remember anything else. I guess it is a memory joke. Thanks for the refill, by the way.
Any words of advice for the kids that look up to you?
Don't take headshots. Anything else? Listen. Always try and do better. Be very hard on yourself. I mean, even if you feel like you had a good match, just tell yourself it sucked, because you're gonna want to try and make it better. learn everything. Wrestling is a sport. It's supposed to be a competition. You're supposed to go into that match wanting to win. Make me believe that you want to win. That's a very crucial thing about wrestling. Don't do a suplex and pick someone up right away. I mean, you can get away with that if you're a heel, if you're taunting the crowd, but if you're watching a boxing match and Tyson knocks out Mayweather, they're the only two boxers I know.
Wow.
And Mayweather goes down and Tyson picks him back up. What's the point?
Exactly.
You know, don't try and get all your stuff in. Try and tell a story. Try and make me believe it's real. Just be, I don't know, willing to listen, I guess. Just all those things.
What's your scariest and happiest moments in the ring?
Scariest is probably, well, we were talking about this earlier. Scariest moment in the ring didn't take place in the ring. It started in the ring. Then I ended up outside of the ring looking up and not knowing where I was, basically passing out in my match. I got the wind knocked out of me like 3 times. Did a drop kick, which I wasn't supposed to do.
In Vancouver's match.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to do that. But we had talked about it, so I got confused. Came down on my hand, on that one area where you get the wind knocked out of you, hard. And I remember turning over to Scott and saying, I just knocked the wind out of myself. And he said something along the lines of, okay, take a break. Next thing I know, I'm draining. I had a nice dream, couldn't tell you what it was. And then I eventually remembered, oh yeah, I never went to sleep. It's not nighttime. And I remember waking up, seeing the lights. So that was pretty scary. You know, I've never been knocked out before. That was scary. Yeah, I almost got choked up just thinking about that. And the happiest moment? I mean, anytime someone came up to me and said good match, I mean, the feeling I got when everyone clapped or cheered when they saw me and Andy square off would be an unreal feeling. I'll never forget ETW Out of Control 2, which you weren't there for. But,
Right.
It was ETW's biggest show. Every time I walked through the curtain, I got chills. And I quad worked that day. I played one masked character, played another one, played Shawn Phoenix, and then did a dark match with Joey Explicit because he was there. 4 out of 4 times got chills. There was actually fans there. That was a good moment. Just finally getting an ESW match was great. So many. Any that was awesome chance, or after a match that was awesome chant means a lot more than a spot. I didn't get too many of those, but when I did, it felt great. So I mean that question could probably be answered by anyone.
Yeah.
Nothing really in specific.
Are there any angles that you came up with that you think could use?
That I remember.
Yeah, that goes a long way on this. Probably should have picked a better person.
In ECW, we did an angle where it was Ronnie, who doesn't wrestle anymore, and Eric, my brother. We started it, but it didn't come to anything. We had this mask character. Wasn't wearing a lucha mask, just a Jason mask, dressed up in a hoodie. Kidnapped Eric. Mid-match. Then we filmed the vignette. We tried to make it as real as possible with like backstage promos and stuff. We had a handheld camera, and they were recording Eric tied up to a tree. They put a towel over his head and punched him, saying he wants, he's gonna get what he wants, and like there's blood. And then I don't remember if it happened or whatever, but I think Ronnie ended up getting kidnapped or whatever. And then I think at this point ECW died, but we were going to go to the woods to try and find Eric and find the blood-soaked towel and find a fake blood thing next to it. So it was staged. So then at that point it was, okay, who was the attackers? It was going to be both Ronnie and Eric.
That's
and they were
awesome.
going to frame each other, or frame themselves, to try and get a world title shot and a US title shot. That would have been cool. I was really liking the where we were going with that. I thought that was different. In retrospect, it probably isn't. It's probably been done before, but it was different to us. Then I remember, wasn't there a time, excuse me, I'm drinking Pepsi, by the way. Pepsi makes me burp. I'm trying my best not to burp. Remember, there was a time where it was like, was it me and Josh and you gonna form a faction?
CTK2.
CTK was gonna come back. Not with like the same wrestlers. It was gonna be a babyface faction.
Yeah.
And it was gonna be me bouncing back from a depressive angle of doing anything for my friends to win them back. That we were gonna take care of one another and stuff like that. I don't remember where we were going with that. It was like in 2010.
Yeah, that ended up turning into the Awakening.
Kind of.
Like in its very basic form, that's what kind of started the Awakening.
I think the pen name coming kind of screwed that up a bit.
Yeah.
That threw it off, and we started to die at that point. I just remember there was talks of that the Awakening angle was, I guess you could say, was one that didn't really finish. I'm sure there's more, but I can't remember. So that's a good question, though.
All right. When you were training, what was the easiest thing for you to learn, and what was the hardest?
I went into training acting like I knew nothing. I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, I did my best to forget everything. However, for some reason, we did this spot where we were tying up and going straight into a headlock, I remember. And it was tie up, pull back, headlock. And it was me and Marshall Gambino. I don't know if anyone knows. Mid-practice. Wow. It's like the new Shima Zion. Which Shima Zion trained at IWC. And look where he is now, TNA. Which that actually made me feel really good. So I guess, that one, bumping was fine. It was in a boxing ring, which sucked. I know it sounds cliche. It is really unbelievably painful. That kind of sting that you kind of get when you bump?
Yeah.
It's like that times 10. It's painful. And we would do so many bumping drills. It was just like, ugh. I hated going to training just because of that damn ring. But I did it. I did the bumping, so.
What goes through your head when selling?
Probably, ow, that really hurt.
Well, no, if you're just
well,
selling.
yeah, if I'm just selling, I always told myself, look at the crowd, look at any camera. Facial expressions are what makes it. If you sell face down, there's no emotion. That's why, it's hard for mask guys to get over. It's because you can't tell them facial expressions. I always tried to, even sell with my eyes. I'm sure there's a lot of clips of me with my eyes like this or looking out.
Oh, the Mithril match.
Yeah, that.
How much of the Mithril match was actual selling? Be as shoot as possible.
It wasn't that bad. It sucked for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
He only did a couple things on the fly, like a double stomp. But it wasn't too bad. I'm not trying to bury Mithril here, but I like to say I have a very high pain tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure maybe someone else doesn't. I'm still alive today, so that says something. I remember the only thing that did hurt was I did the snapmare driver off the top rope, and the way I came down on my leg kind of hurt, and then it ended up giving out. That hurt really bad. But I didn't sell it, which is stupid. You should always sell an actual injury, which is what Raven told me. Because it's supposed to look like it hurts. If you're going in there not selling anything, even actual injuries, then.
Yeah.
But when it comes to selling, I don't know. I guess it's always come natural to me. I guess I'm good at selling. Kel always said I was good at selling. I've always known it's the most crucial part of any match. When it comes to believability, it's a high impact thing, so it's got to have believability. So I always try to put my focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't take any acting classes or anything. I don't know what goes through my head. I just did it. Sorry, I can't give any advice.
What do you think that makes your selling distinctly different from others?
Is it different?
It's definitely noticeable that it's like your own style.
I don't know if it's any different. I think maybe I probably oversell a little bit, and that probably, I don't know.
it's probably not overselling because you're a little guy, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people you're going against is bigger, so you're probably selling it, you know? That probably helps a lot, too, actually, the fact that you're smaller.
Yeah, maybe that. And I guess, always trying to, make facial expressions with the crowd. I remember when I was in ESW, I always tried to sell everything like I was dead. Like I was just, like that was it. I don't know why, but in the WrestleFix Chamber match, little known fact, Shane Evans' music wasn't working. So he was like, shit, what do I do? I'm like, bro, just attack someone. Which in retrospect was the greatest thing I could have ever said, because at the end of it, it looked like it was supposed to be me and Lee Andrews, and that would help out our feud and our tag team so much that I wouldn't get to start with him, because at that point people kind of wanted to see that match. So anyway, Shane comes out, clubs me from behind. I thought he was just going to push me. He comes 347 miles per hour, wham! And then I hit the ring with 100% ribs. So that hurt. I was able to sell that. I just laid down there. And I remember like 800 people coming over, looking down at me, asking if I was alright, and I was distinctly looking up going, yeah, I'm just selling. And then like I was even talking to Maverick like 2 months afterwards. Like, I don't think he knew who I was at that point, but I was like, remember that kid who got put, yeah, wasn't he knocked out? Like, no dude, that was me, I was just selling. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, we were talking about your distinct selling.
Oh yeah, so just overselling, I guess. So yeah, that's what if you guys ever saw that music video, that's why Shane attacks me. But in retrospect, got him over as a heel. He was the only heel in the match. Got me over huge. As Mike Quest was announcing everyone, I was announced last. I got a pop. Nobody knew who I was, but I got a pop just because of that. I didn't win, but I mean, it helped get me over. That wasn't the intention, but it worked.
Orange, you glad I didn't say banana?
Is that on there?
Yeah, that's right there.
Did you write that?
I wrote all of them.
Well, yeah, but did you ad-lib that?
I wrote all of them.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really glad you didn't say banana, because I don't know what I would do.
Are you impressed that Lindsay refrained from adding nonsense and wieners all the way until the end?
I am, considering the fact that she has ADD just like I do. And she probably didn't take her medicine, or it's worn off by now. Clearly, she's been writing these down for a while. She's wrote these down for maybe an hour.
Any closing thoughts or anything else that you want to say before the end? Talk to people about anything at all? Any random things that you could think of?
I thought there were more questions.
There's no more questions.
That's it?
That is all.
Did you give up halfway, or
no? She did it right.
No, that's all.
Okay.
Yep, she did it right.
Thanks for the questions.
No, there were a lot more questions.
Yeah,
a lot of them were repeats.
Some of the questions were repeats. Some of them, were a bit silly. We wanted to do a word association. I didn't get enough of those to do that, and they were all silly. Sorry. Yeah, this was supposed to be like an out of character interview, but I wanted to be serious. Shed some light on some things. Thanks for watching. It's been a blast. I had fun doing this. I'd like to see more of these in the future. Like, that'd be pretty interesting, like KKK said. I'd probably watch every single one of them. But yeah, it's been a blast wrestling with everyone. I look forward to seeing everyone at shows.
NYE?
See you at NYE. If you're watching this after NYE. Hope you had fun. Like me on Facebook?
No. We're not going there.
Okay, well, how about this? CGK, Focalin out. Zebra Cakes, we're better than you.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed a dose of Focalin, and hopefully it gave you a little more insight into the mind of Phoenix, Focalin, Shawn Phoenix, whatever you'd like to call him, and everything that's going on with him all the way through his career to that day of the interview in June of 2002, and We didn't get to see much else after this. He did make a comeback as Phoenix, like I said, and retired soon afterwards, and does still pop up from time to time. I'm still a big fan of his, and I hope I'm a big friend of his, because he did a lot for me when I started. He was a big supporter of Rad Hazard in the early days, especially when nobody knew me. He was very okay with the idea of, hey, kid, be my manager for this really big match at this super show. And okay, and I was all for it. And even when I came back to Backyard Wrestling, he was able to get me a place to sleep the night of the show, and I believe it was CCW Burn the City. And he was the one that helped me out because I had nowhere to sleep that night. He gave me a place to sleep. It was very nice of him. But there you have it, folks, and I hope you enjoyed it. And who knows what we will have in the 2016 season. But I'm very excited to find out. So until next time, folks, as always, I am Rad Hazard, signing off for the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation Podcast.